Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Hope you guys are doing well. We're going to be doing some fun stuff today. Something kind of out of the box. All right, I'm just pulling up my other screen so I can see you guys. And I can see your comments. So, welcome. My name's Allison Cope, and today we're going to be playing with some fun inks, and believe it or not, bleach. Yes, bleach. We're going to be kind of playing around with it a little bit and show you some of the effects that you get when you play with this kind of stuff. And of course, it's all dependent upon the inks that you use. Again, I'll have to apologize for my hand. If you were here on Sunday, I injured my hand on Saturday. So I have stitches in my fingers and I have abrasions across my knuckles. So I do apologize for the Band-Aids. But it's just the way it is. All right, shall we get started? So today I'm going to work with Catherine Pooler inks. We're going to be working with Polished, Rose Petals, Sugared Lavender, and Sangria. They all sound kind of delicious and great smelling, don't they? Okay. So we're also going to be working with the Sunny Studio Chubby Bunny stamp set. And these bunnies are stinking adorable. So let's get to this. We're going to start by grabbing a piece of white cardstock. Just grab your favorite cardstock. And I am going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back. And it's just going to hold everything down for me. I have a bent corner, but that's okay. All right. It's just going to help stick that surface down. Catherine Pooler inks are kind of classed in two different sections. So the Spa collection is kind of a more vintage feel. It has a little bit more gray toned, not as vibrant. And there's all kinds of colors in the Spa collection. And then there's the Party collection, and it's nice and bright and saturated, and lots of colors there. Plus neutrals. So, believe it or not, Catherine Pooler has, I believe it's either 96 or 98 colors, and there's more coming. So let's get to making our background here. I could have swore I had my brushes set out, but that's okay. I'm going to pull in, I need my pinky brushes, and I could have swore I put them. Well, there's one. Okay, so let's start off with our Polished. We're going to put it at one end, and then we're going to work our way down as a gradient or an ombre. And for this technique, you want to have kind of a really good saturation of color. So I'm actually going to go ink pad to paper. And I juiced these up yesterday so that they were nice and juicy and ready for today. And the Catherine Pooler inks have a nice soft foam. And they go on like a dream. Okay, the next color we're going to add is Rose Petals. And I did grab my brush just in case we needed a little bit of help in the overlap, because I am going to overlap them just slightly. And if there's lighter areas like that, or the corner, then we can also use the brush to kind of help fill that in too. So like I said, for this technique, you want a fairly deep, dark color of ink. I think it shows a lot better. And each ink is going to react differently to bleach. So it's a great idea to test your ink pads out on some scrap pieces of paper. Do kind of like some swatch lines. And then test out your bleach. And your concentrations of bleach are going to play a factor too. Okay, so we're just going to fill in any gaps here. And we're going to do a little bit of overlap too. just using our brush, it's a great way to do that action and fill that in. Okay, rose petals. I'm going to grab just a scrap piece of paper here and brush off any excess color. I don't think I have a really pinky brush. Can't think I do. No. Okay, rose petals. Again, we're just going to make sure that we're pretty saturated evenly all the way across. Like I said, we're just filling in some of those lighter areas. Make sure that the coverage is pretty good. Now, once you do this technique, your streakiness in that is going to definitely decrease. So there's that one, and then onto our last. This one's kind of a purpley with our lavender, sugared lavender. And there we go. We have our gradient of polished rose petals and sugared lavender. Okay, we're going to set this aside. And what we're going to do next is we're going to do some stamping. We're going to make our own background paper so that we have something to color. So, as simple as a couple of spritzes of water. I can't use that finger, so I have to switch hands. Okay, a little bit of cleanup with microfiber. Okay, let's bring in a mini Missy. This one should work. Big, large enough. I am going to kind of jam it, not in the corner this time. I'm going to leave kind of both sides of my paper hanging so I can let stamps fall off the edges. And this time we're going to use a darker, richer sangria, which is like a richer purple. Beautiful color. Okay. The next thing to do is we're going to use as many of our little cute bunnies and all their cute little accessories as possible because we're making a Easter theme. So, all right. We're going to literally lay as many bunnies and flowers and baskets and eggs as possible. And like I said, I'm going to make sure that some things hang off because that's what a pattern paper would do. And this is the cutest little bunny. I love his ears. He's hanging on to like his own little chocolate bunny. And there's a little chocolate bunny too, which we can put on. There we go. And of course there's lots of little things too, like little teeny eggs. And we're just gonna put all the things on our background today. And like I said, we're gonna hang stuff off the edges, and of course you can move things around a little bit. I try not to touch it because they will stick to your nails. Okay, again, we want more bunnies. You can just work your way down that card surface. There we go. Maybe we'll put them a little closer. There's some adorable bunnies on this. Sideways bunnies. Bunnies and eggs. You got it. This stamp set is adorable and in the shop. And there's some cute little flowers and cute little tiny little eggs too. There we go. All right. And I don't want to go too far down because I will flip it. And we will do, you know what, I'll put you bunny back for a moment. Gotta have one of the little chicks in there. Okay. Move my magnet up so it's touching the paper. We're going to use our beautiful sangria. All of the Catherine Pooler inks can be found in the Scrap and Stamp shop. I highly recommend that when you purchase your inks that you get refills if you can. If you want to try out the Catherine Pooler inks, I highly suggest getting the minis. I'll see if I can grab. I only have a couple, but if you're interested in trying them, they come in bundles of 8. So you get 8 different colors that kind of go together. This one just happens to be ginger. Great way to try out Catherine's inks. And they're also mini foam pads. So definitely worth the purchase. And they come in a really nice package for easy storage in your crafty drawer. Whatever kind of works for you. Okay, so now we can, what I am going to do is I'm going to flip this. Or actually I'm going to transfer this up. So we're going to push this up so that we can do the same thing as we did at the top, is that we can hang stuff off the bottom. And we will remove the stamps from here, and then we probably use the majority of them down here. And I have to use this little guy. He reminds me of Yoda because of the way his ears are. He is the cutest bunny ever. Okay, we got to get this little fella on here somewhere. So there we go. And then we'll fill some of the gaps with some of the tinier elements. Get in there, little flower. Perfect. We need some more funky eggs. And this basket is cute. Actually, we'll wait. Maybe we'll put him down there. We need another bunny over here. Like I said, I'm just finagling things here. Let's hang some stuff off the edge. We'll use that flower again. Putting all the cuteness everywhere on our card. Now we may have to, okay, so what I'm going to do is, I still want to put some bunnies down here, but they just don't quite fit. So here's the solution. First of all, let's get rid of all of the ones on the surface of my platform here. So I'm sticking them back in their spots. That way you don't lose them. I don't know about you, but I have a way of sticking things where sometimes they should not stick. Okay, we're putting a little cute little chick down at the bottom there. Okay. So again, we're going in with our sangria. The sangria is darker than our sugared lavender strip, so it still shows up. And of course you can use black. Whatever, you could use Versamark and emboss these on to color. Absolutely. There we go, and we're pretty good. Okay. We're looking good today, guys. Okay, so if you have a mini Misty and you still need to do some stamping, it's okay to take your image and absolutely hang it over the edge. You can still 100% stamp with it hanging off the edge, and it will not affect your design at all. So let's put some remainder images down here. Let's pull in an egg. I'm not sure if we can fit. Let's fit that little chocolate bunny friend. Little bunny friend, and then let's do a little flower over here. Stay there, little friend. And maybe another, actually here. Let's put the itty bitty one in that gap. There we go. And then maybe one more thing kind of sticking off the side. Maybe we'll do the little egg. That'll work. Okay, and then we're just going to peel off the remainder and put them back on our sheet. Like I said, there's some adorable babies in this stamp set. And it also comes with a possibility of dies. Okay, we're picking up our stamps again. We're going to add more sangria. Okay, here we go. We don't want to forget that little teeny flower. And if you find that you have some more open gaps that you still want to add, like some of the smaller images, you can absolutely go back and do that. There we go. That looks good. Clean off our stamps. I find that Catherine Pooler inks don't stain a lot. There are a few colors that do give a little bit of a residue, but I just use stamp cleaner on my rag to clean that off, and it comes off pretty clean. And of course, stained stamps just mean that they're loved and they can absolutely be used again and again and again. So don't fret if you have staining on your stamps. It does not affect their use at all. Okay, there we go. We have a whole bunch of cutie patooties. Oh, you know what? I think there's a couple of gaps up here that need some little bitty itty flowers. So let's go in and fill those gaps. Like I said, this is so super easy to do. You just have to put those stamps on in those gaps. There we go. Stay there, little fella. And then I'm going to put something over here too. I wonder if I can get a chick. Little teeny. You know what? We're going to have to move this over. But that's okay, because he's got to hang off. Oops. And that's what happens when you move things. Okay, little flower. There we go. And then it just looks more uniform. Again, sangria. And then we're get to do the exciting part. We get to color with bleach. Yep. Good old household bleach. Okay. Give me 1 second to refresh. There we go. Whoops, 1 second. There we go. Okay, putting our stuff back. Itty bitty babies. Okay, magnets back so I don't lose those. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to pull out is just, you can use a plate for this. Whatever you can find. There. I just have a laminated piece of paper for this. Works really well. You could use a plate just because you could take it to the dishwasher or wash it for this. Now, this is a water pen or a water paintbrush, and you can fill it with any kind of liquid. You can make your own glitter liquid, that kind of thing, and add this. And it has a brush nib. What you do is just, unscrew the top, and there's a little black cap kind of at the top, and you just get your nail underneath it and pull it off, and then you can fill it with whatever liquid. Well, I decided that I was going to fill it with some bleach, and this is straight bleach, so I know it's not watered down. So I'm going to just squeeze it, and if you give it a good squeeze, you can get a fair amount of liquid out of this. Now, this bleach it does a really good job at taking the pigment out, so I am going to water it down a little bit. So I've got a puddle of water and a puddle of bleach, and I'm going to use this as my painting tool. So I'm just going to drag a little water over and add a little bit to it in the corner. And then you get to kind of do what you do best, is color. So I'm going to color my bunnies. And because I watered it down, it only kind of takes off so much pigment. And I'll show you in a moment here, after we're done coloring, that you can actually use straight bleach, and we'll do some spattering. And I'm going to do all of just the bunny, and I'm going to try not to do the inner ears because I think they should stay pink or purple. And you can go over things if you want to too. And just know that because bleach is pretty liquidy, right? It's just like water. It may go outside the lines. So this is never going to be a perfect way to color something. Okay, just know that. This is why I kind of did a splatter effect over top, because it made it look messy, just like your coloring might be. Don't forget those cute little tails. And I'm trying to do the image as kind of as fast as I can. And you'll notice that if I go over it, the color, that sangria, that dark, dark purple, it does bleach out too. And the lighter the color, the more it bleaches out. So as I work down, these are going to be much, much brighter and whiter versus the colors as we work towards that darker purple, that sugared lavender at the bottom. Gotta remember this little fella. And the splatter just covers up some of those boo-boos or adds that little bit of texture. And that's why I like adding splatter to my stuff. You could go a metallic splatter with paint. That would be fun. There we go. Cutie patootie bunnies. And of course, you could cut this panel and make 2 cards, or you could do a larger panel too. That would be very cool, and then split it into 2 or 3 pieces. It's always great. You can get multiple cards of the same piece of paper, and basically what you're doing, you're just making your own pattern paper, right? And for this guy, you don't want to forget his belly. You just don't want to color over his chocolate bunny. So I've just got basic residue now. See how bright white they are? It's because I'm literally putting on pure bleach at this point because it's just wicking out of my brush. There we go. And as you can see how this purple down here, the sugared lavender, versus our middle color, which I'm trying to think what we put there, our rose petal. It bleaches out differently. These almost have like a little bit of a rosy undertone to them, whereas these ones are definitely whiter, for sure. There we go. Just basically paint. It's like water painting, right? You know those coloring books that you might have had as a kid? I'm going to do the eggs too. 2 little eggs. And maybe just the center of the blooms. Tiny little drop. There we go. And then we're going to add some splatter. Okay, so for this time, just going to clean up my palette with a little piece of paper towel. Whew, that's bleachy. Okay. So this time, I'm going to bring in my splat box. Okay. So here we go. It's just a good old cardboard box. And I'm going to bring in, whoops. Yeah, so you don't want to do that. I touched my, okay, so I'm squeezing, let's touch it with my brush. That's okay, the splatter's going to like kind of diminish that. Okay, so bleach in a little puddle there. Be aware of the clothing that you're wearing. Don't do this with good clothing on. And then you're just going to tap that brush all over and get that bleach to activate on your inks. And you can do as little or as much as you want. I'm just looking for a variety of different sizes of splatter and trying to get my splatter kind of everywhere across that panel. And of course, the longer it sits, the more activated it kind of pulls up that ink. So you can always go back and add more splatter if you don't think that you have enough. There we go. And we'll just clean up our palette. And then of course you'll want to clean your brushes under water, and probably even a little bit of soap would help. Okay, let's take this back. And there we go, a really easy and fun technique, something different. Try this out with all the inks that you have in your repertoire and see what you can create. I mean, it kind of looks like there's some stickers out there that are really cute that are kind of like purpley colored. So I kind of get that vibe from this, and I like that. And now all you have to do is put on a little sentiment and you have some super duper cute cartoony pattern paper to create your Easter card. So thanks for joining me today. I am off to Ontario for a week, so I will see you probably a week, possibly a week Sunday. So I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday weekend, and I'll see you again soon. Take care, guys.